You and your wife used to be really close. You'd pretty much talk about everything, but now you're lucky if she even says good morning to you. It's a frustrating time when your wife checks out of your marriage emotionally. You can feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall with no hope of reconnecting. Unfortunately, this is a situation that a lot of men find themselves in. But don't worry, I'm here to help. Now, if we haven't met each other before, my name's Luke Finn and I'm the founder of the ARC system, which has helped hundreds of dads avoid divorce and reconnect with their wife. And on today's video, I'm going to cover the reason why women check out emotionally, the common mistakes that you must avoid, and what to do when your wife's checked out emotionally. Now make sure to stick around to the end of this video where I'm going to share with you my 5 tips to reconnect with your wife. Now with all that being said, let's dive right in. The reason women check out emotionally boils down to 3 factors. Number 1, a lack of emotional intimacy. So you and your wife used to be really close and you used to share everything, but then life got real. You had kids, you had a job, you had all the responsibilities, and all these stressors and responsibilities took a toll on you. You'd come home from work and you'd be mentally wiped and you'd sit down at the table and you'd just stare off into the distance. So your wife would want to connect with you mentally and emotionally, and the kids as well, but you just wouldn't have the capacity anymore. You didn't have the bandwidth because you were working so hard and you had all these stressors going on. And as this continued on for months or even years, your wife started to feel alone in the marriage. Number 2 is unresolved arguments. So you were already drifting apart from your wife emotionally, but what made the situation worse is you both started arguing more often and the issues were not getting resolved and they started to stack in the marriage. Number 3, resentment. So as you and your wife drifted apart emotionally and more arguments were happening that were going unresolved, resentment grew in the marriage to a point where you and your wife now can't even have a normal, amicable conversation. There's always a subtle undertone of resentment or anger. Mistakes you must avoid. I know it's very frustrating when your wife's checked out emotionally and it doesn't seem like you're making any progress with her, but there's some common mistakes that you must avoid if you want to start making progress. Don't let your emotions get the better of you. I know it's a very frustrating time and it's totally normal to be getting angry because your wife is refusing to do any work on the marriage and you feel like you're on your own trying to save your marriage. But getting angry and frustrated is not helping you because it leads you to blaming and shaming her. And if you lose your shit, start calling her names, acting all upset and threatening her with the future of the marriage if she doesn't check back in, this only pushes her further away. What to do when your wife checks out emotionally. So the first thing you need to do is gain awareness. You need to gain awareness around the root problems that caused your wife to check out of the marriage emotionally. So this didn't just happen from one day to the next. This has literally taken years to get your wife to this point where she's checked out emotionally. Today we've already covered a couple of the reasons why women check out emotionally, but you need to reflect on your own unique situation. What happened in your marriage? Were you getting angry, blowing up at home because of all the stresses that you were experiencing in work and you took it out on the ones you loved? Or maybe you were not emotionally available for your wife when she was going through a tough time. Maybe she lost one of her parents and she wanted to have that shoulder to cry on and someone to support her emotionally, but you weren't in the space to do that. Whatever the reason was in your marriage, you need to get clarity on it because it's the only way you're going to be able to fix the problem and reconnect with your wife. The second thing you need to do is process your emotions, brother. And you know this because if you don't, you're going to self-sabotage the reconciliation process. And you know this because you find yourself blowing up when you don't want to. You get into a heated argument with her and you're saying things that you wouldn't say if you were calm and collected. So it's really important for you to release all this anger and frustration. It's the only way you're going to start making progress. Now this isn't the easiest thing to do. That's why I've created a free masterclass which you can find down below in the description, which you can enroll in today to release those emotions and start making progress. The third thing you need to do is rediscover yourself. So all this stress has worn you down. I bet you used to be quite a good time to be around, but now with everything that's been happening at home with your wife, you're worn down. It's hard to even get a smile or a laugh out of you. This is not cool, man. You need to really let off some steam. So go out and have some fun with your friends. Go do some things that you love and focus on something else other than the marriage for a little bit to get your mind off things. The fourth thing you need to do is to address the issue in an empowered manner. Now, the mistake that most men make is they don't say anything for a long time. They let things stack. And then when they get angry, they just let everything out and they start talking about all the problems and you start telling her about how she's been this way for such a long time and you start generalizing and this is horrendous. This just makes the issue worse. You don't want to do this. What you want to do is you want to address the issue in a timely manner and to be specific. So let me give you an example to make this a bit more clear. So let's imagine your anniversary is coming up and you ask your wife, does she want to do anything tomorrow because it's the big day? And she just kind of goes no, and kind of just like gives you this look as if you're crazy. Now I guarantee you're going to feel upset if she acts this way, but it's really important that you don't react in the heat of the moment. You need to take some time, process the emotion, and then come back to her to have a discussion with her. So what you want to do here is make sure to have a conversation with your wife within 24 hours. So this way it's still fresh in her head. And you want to be specific about what happened. So when you sit down with her, you want to give her a fact and a feeling. So the way you're going to address it is you're going to say, Sarah, yesterday when I came home from work and I asked you about our anniversary tomorrow and what we want to do, you said you don't really care. And this made me feel sad. Or you can put in whatever emotion it is you're feeling. But this way you were sticking to facts. So tell her about what happened, what she said, and how it made you feel. And this way it's going to leave it open for an open discussion. And once you've given her this feedback, you can ask her, can you help me understand what was going on for you? And this will give your wife the opportunity to open up and to share what's going on for her. And remember, what's very important is whatever she shares, it's her emotions. There's no right or wrong with emotions. It's important for you just to listen to her and to try to understand where she's coming from so that you guys can have an open discussion and come to a resolution. Now, if you like this video, you need to watch this next video on 5 tips to reconnect with your wife.